Hello everyone. So I'm doing this tapping per request. So as many of you know, I love this book, The Healing Questions Guide, but I have to edit it because I do find at times even some of the questions are kind of punitive. So, but what I'm going to do, this is for if you get diagnosed with Parkinson's. Interesting, I have a family member, a cousin that just got diagnosed last year with Parkinson's, and I came to understand, I think my grandfather on my dad's side had that as well. So this is the psychosomatics, so the body mind connection. So you don't have to believe in this, but the idea is that I 100% believe in it. But again, everybody's got to make that decision for themselves. I've really come to believe in it more and more over time. But there's an emotional component as to why we have the physical experiences, disease that we have. Anytime I've looked up 95% of the time when I look up stuff that I'm dealing with, I read it and I'm like, whoa, most of it's pretty true. But the idea with these questions is they ask a couple questions. It doesn't mean all of them apply. It doesn't mean any of them. You might find one that really stands out. That's often what I find is people find one of the questions that are like, whoa, that's it. It really stands out for me. So I'm going to read these. And this would be related to Parkinson's. So what will it take to detach the subconscious patterns linked to my need to control everything and everyone about every aspect of every issue and situation? So that's how do I want to say it? It's a little punitive in its thing, but what I would say, this is how I want to say this. I definitely have this hypervigilant part of me, and I like that word way better than control. Because when we're hypervigilant, we learn that in childhood. Here's what I say about myself. My hypervigilance is a manifestation of how out of control I felt as a child in my upbringing. So the more out of control I felt, the more there's a part of me that is hypervigilant. You could say tries to control, but hypervigilant to what's going on. And I think if you want to say control, try and take kind of the judgment out of it, because it's a product of the environment that we grew up in. I have a cat right over here that's playing with something on my desk, so she might pop into the screen. But it's so when you're like, hey, I'm trying to control the situation, if you want to use that word, or I'm really hyper vigilant about this, it's to soothe the part of you that's how you learn to feel safe, like and probably never felt safe. So let me say it this way: trying to find a way to feel safe. So I know that's true for me. If I try to like control the situation or I'm hyper vigilant about what's going on. It's like it's a way I'm trying to get some sense of safety, and that's the child within, and to soothe and comfort, because otherwise we just heap such judgment on ourselves about it. So the next one is, what will it take to send a clear message to my brain to let go of all the things I am holding on to that really do not matter? So I'm going to read the first one again because there's an important thing here. What will it take to detach the subconscious patterns? And that's what I was talking about. The need to like control the situation, be hypervigilant, is the way the child in us is trying desperately to feel safe. So, you can walk around, I'm a control freak, and, judge the heck out of yourself, or go, that's a product. Of course I'm hypervigilant. I had to learn to be that way because I just felt so unsafe as a kid. So it's subconscious patterns linked to my need to control everything, everyone, about every aspect of every issue and situation. So just think of that. Your level of trying to control something or be hypervigilant is directly proportional to how out of control life felt for you as a child in your formative years. Okay, what will it take to send a clear message to my brain to let go of all the things that I'm holding on to that really do not matter? But they do matter in the subconscious. They might seem like that's petty, that's inconsequential, but in the subconscious, they're huge. to the child in us, it's a big deal. So keep that in mind too. What will it take to consider there is a higher power orchestrating things beyond my comprehension, and I need not attempt to hold on to the idea that I must do it all on my own. And if you learn to believe that you have to do it all on your own, that's a product of childhood. The authority figures, the adults around you, did not feel safe, did not feel competent, didn't feel like, oh, I can trust them, I can rely on them. So that's why we do all these things. And to me, it is so important to look at the, those saying, know your why. Well, know the why. Like, this is why I reach for these things, because it's this attempt of the child in me to try to feel safe. So let's tap. Karate chop. Even though I got this diagnosis of Parkinson's, and my mind is reeling from the diagnosis, I choose to acknowledge I feel this way now. Even though my brain is reeling from this diagnosis, now what? I choose to acknowledge my feelings now. Even though I got this diagnosis of Parkinson's, and what do I do with this? My mind is reeling. I deeply and profoundly accept myself anyway now. And go to the eyebrow. This diagnosis of Parkinson's. What do I do with this now? Maybe it's actually helpful to me to know. Maybe it explains a lot of things. Maybe it fills me with fear. I start to project out into the future. What's going to happen to me? And then I start to pay attention to every symptom and think, oh, that's part of Parkinson's. And what if that creates a lot of stress? But what if I can catch all of this in the act? As I catch myself stressing over this, over every symptom, over what the future might hold, over my apparent decline. What if by catching these thoughts in the act, I start to feel less stressed, especially over time? And what if from a less stressed place, the help and information I need now has the space to come to me? And what if there are ways to treat this that can change everything for me? What if I find the right person? I find the right people. I find the right treatments. So many things to help me through this, so that this diagnosis doesn't have to be an end game for me. And what if it could be possible that there's so much more possible as I just attend to my stress and to the ruminating thoughts I might have that really challenge what's happening for me. I kind of like that idea a lot. That could change so much for me. Just attend to my stress and see what opens up for me. So take a breath. So there's often the talk, like when you get the diagnosis, some people are like, oh, I love the diagnosis because now I know what's happening. It's like, actually can be a sense of comfort. But for other people, they get the diagnosis and it's like, whoa, they sort of go downhill with it. So to me, when you get overwhelmed with things like that, if you do, the key is just to drill it down to like, all I got to do right now is tap on the stress that I feel around this. Catch myself in the act of the ruminating thoughts, catch what's going on for me. And as I do that, that's your roadmap on what to tap on, because then your prefrontal cortex isn't offline. You bring it back online, and then all the help and answers you need can come. And if you are looking, I'll put this plug in there. I do have a friend. She's in another country, but she does functional medicine. So to anyone that might struggle with anything like this, if you want to, she'll have a free conversation with anyone to see if it's a fit. She's helped me tremendously, and she's helped a lot of people that I've sent her way. So if you have any interest in hooking up and having a conversation with her, just private message me or email me, at Marti@martimurphy.com, and then I can give you her information. So I hope you found this helpful, and take good care and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.